Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to set up a Payload CMS project in our local machine. For a quick recap, in our previous video, we have gone through what is Payload CMS, when to use it, and we also gone through what are the videos we are going to cover in this tutorial series. Apart from this, we also have gone through what are the prerequisites required to follow along. Anyways, to begin with, we'll just see a set of steps what we are going to do in this video. We first create a payload CMS project using the npx command, and then it will navigate us through the installation process. Then we will get a free MongoDB database from ContentQL.io website, and then we will attach it to our environment variables, and then we spin up a dev server, navigate to our admin panel, and create a first user account. This is the flow. So yeah, let's begin with this. I'm heading back to my terminal and using the npx create payload app command. This will guide me through a set of project installation setup. The first one is to name the application. I'm going with to do payload demo. So what's the project? I would suggest you go with a blank when you're starting with to get a overall holistic understanding of what payload CMS is. And for database, we'd go with MongoDB, which is your choice. And for connection string, for now, we'll leave this empty and let the process continue in background. While this is installing our dependencies in background, let's head back to the ContentQL website and create our first MongoDB database, which we can use in our website. So head back, log in your account, head back to the dashboard and create a project. Go to deploy database section, import the MongoDB, and just provide payload right demo. You can change your name if you would like to with the database. So this creates you a database, MongoDB database, and you can use this for free of cost. And this creates you a fresh MongoDB databases. And once it was deployed, it will redirect back to our dashboard. Over there, we can grab our database URL. Yeah, so let's wait for a couple of minutes for this to finish and spin up our database. Yep, now you can see the database was done. So head back to your project, which was created right now. Over here, you can see the MongoDB public URL. Copy down this, come back to your setup process. And over here, I can see my project was successfully created. For this, I should navigate to my project. So let me open my project, which I named as to do payload light, to do payload demo. Open this in VS Code so that you have a good view. Let me zoom in a bit for a proper ergonomics. Yeah, in my .ini file, I can clearly see this MongoDB URL was a URL. I'll remove this and paste it to the URL which I got from my ContentQL database creation process. With this, I can say my database setup was done, and to ensure everything was working proper, first of all, just start the server from our end. So let's start the server. So it seems like the project was started. So head back to our browser and navigate to localhost 3000/admin. Remember, localhost 3000 is the website which we will create our application, which was not yet ready. /admin is an admin panel which was auto-generated by Payload CMS. So let's open that and see how things are. So over here, it's compiling. So meanwhile, we have the database URL. So if possible, install the MongoDB Compass so that you can access your database and see your data within it. So let me just quickly add, this is not a mandatory step, but this will help you a lot while you are working with. So I connected to my database. So by default, you can see we have a database called as test. And over there are some details which are gathered. And over here, my localhost 3000/admin was redirected to the create first user. There are many things which I'm supposed to explain. So let's come one by one. The first and foremost thing, I first access the localhost 3000/admin, but it redirect to the create first user. Why? The reason here was the payload CMS is defined in such a way. for the better user experience, that if your database has no first user, it allows you to first create a user so that you can enter into the application. First one. Second one, okay, how does it know whether that particular database has the data or not? Like even the table was not available, but when I check in my database, I can clearly see that there is a table of users. uh, uh, in MongoDB's terms, I can say there is a document of users. So what really happened? So that is the logic behind, and that is how Payload CMS works. So in Payload CMS, we created, I mean, the installation setup gave us the users and the to-dos collections. So in our database also, we can see the same. We have a users collection, we have a media collection. Apart from this, there is something called as payload migration, payload references, payload log documents. These are not of our concern at this point of time. Consider them as the default tables that creates in background for the work of Payload CMS. So in order to create our database documents or tables, we need to define collections in our application. So how do we define these? We define these from the Payload CMS collections attribute in the Payload CMS config file. We will cover all of these aspects in the coming video, but what I'm about to say here was Payload CMS allows you to write an configuration file within the Payload CMS config file. You mention what are the necessary collections you need for your application, and in detail section of what are the respective fields the particular collection supposed to have, you mention them in your config file, and those particular collections will be added into your database. One means created in your database. Two, all the respective API calls which are necessary for doing CRUD operations were auto-generated. We will also look into those things. And the TypeScript which was necessary for you to configure your database for API calls, all of them are pre-configured. That is also being done by Payload CMS. And last but not least, it also generated you the admin panel. So now let's see what it generates for us in our admin panel. For me to work, I'm just creating admin @ example.com, and my password is changme. I'm confirming the same thing, changme. Create an account. I created an account through which I can see the collections, users and media. I mentioned you previously that the users and the media collections were the two collections which were configured in the our initial installation template. Nice. That's what you're able to see here. The users collection, I can see a table format UI, which was auto-generated by Payload CMS itself just by writing the config file. Also keep that in mind. I can see my details, my email ID. That's good to know. And there is an API section which has this particular API URL, which is redirecting me to the user. Let's also check this for a briefer understanding. API/users. I will just check the API/users. Okay. So navigate to the localhost 3000/API/users and see what it gives us. It's giving me some data which specifies me about my admin details. Though it is insecure, the thing we are supposed to understand at this point of time, just by writing the collections config file, Payload CMS is automatically creating the necessary tables or documents in our database. It is providing us an admin panel to look through the data from the admin panel. And the third one, it's also providing us the REST endpoint with all the necessary CRUD operations. Though I just showed you the get operation, all the rest of the operations were automatically created in the background. So we will look that in documentation for more idea. So this is the project creation. And last but not least, if you just reload your database, you can also see that particular data was added in our database. So if for some reason you update your data over here by replacing the admin with dev and update it and navigate back, just refresh your API call, you see it was updated, point one, and you head back to your your particular user over here, you can also see it was updated in the background. So both were vice versa. Everything is interconnected. Admin, save, updated successfully, come back over here, refresh, it was updated successfully. Everything was connected, and Payload CMS does this everything in background. So this is for this video. Let's connect in another video.